Just do it. Welcome back, everybody, to Project Airwaves. I am D.
And this is Lynn.
We are here to come at you again today. We're just going to talk about some simple things. We're going to keep it light, keep it fun. It's the holiday season. We got a lot to talk about.
We're going to try and give you guys how our weekends have been, what the do's and don'ts are of how, side projects are and holiday shopping and just the whole trying to get through the holidays and what your New Year's resolution may or may not be.
Oh, yes. We got a lot to cover. So strap in, buckle up, sit back, grab some popcorn, and get cozy. So I'm just a random person. So first thing, we're just going to open up. We're just going to have some casual conversation. I hope you don't mind. Lynn, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. It's been a long, busy weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still 2 more days deep into my 4-day work week. Trying to get through doing all the security stuff. We just had that NRF thing going. Was it the National Fitness Rodeo? Not Fitness Rodeo. What is that called? It's that cowboy convention. It's where they all come in and they dress up and they have their boots and everything. They had a mechanical bull inside of eye candy.
Nice.
Yeah, they had that. The clubs were closed. New Year's is going to bring Light back open again. Light at Mandalay Bay. Rick Ross is going to be there. T-Pain. He's going to come in with Twitch and stream there. So the New Year's is going to be wrapping up, being pretty big. We've got, I've got Maroon 5 that's going to be performing. I'm doing overtime security for that, and then when the New Year kicks over, that's getting me ready. I don't know, man. I'm trying to enjoy the holidays and spend time with the family, but I am ready for the New Year to start. What about you?
I mean, the thing is, when I stopped doing security, that was like the more fun side of life for me.
Yeah.
I've worked security for 6.5 years. I was on the strip working midnight to 8:30. I've worked New Year's Eve all 6 of those years. It was freezing. People were drunk and they had very little clothing. And so I can only imagine what Lynn is going to have to deal with. Me, on the other hand, I'm that guy. I'm just going to chill out.
You're moving.
Yes. Oh, snap. See, I totally forgot. I'm working on moving. Me and my girlfriend are finally getting our own spot. So it's been really hectic trying to save and try to get through the holidays, because, with shopping and everything,
the fucking holidays,
that's not easy, bro. When you're trying to save and everything you see is a special or a deal or, 50, 70% off. It's like, you know what? Maybe we can, throw $200 over there.
These companies, they make so much money off of catching your eye on those holiday specials. The fact is that Black Friday falls in November.
Yep.
Christmas is in December, and people are buying in advance because they know that there's a deal that's going on. I'm a sucker for it as well. Black Friday sales, I snatch up what I can, thinking, I'm gonna be prepared for the holiday, and then it never fucking fails that once Christmas gets closer and closer, I'm going shopping almost immediately afterwards. Once we're done recording this video, me and my daughter are going to go to the mall and go pick up some more Christmas presents.
Yay!
Gotta try to be a little bit more organized when it comes to time and productivity, but, shit's still getting done. Still trying to do my best to focus on my growth. Once the holidays run through, I'm going to hunker down, make this podcast obviously a primary response thing, make it more for me, but also for D, so we can actually experience self-growth, so we can actually become stronger individuals and be able to, help and aid people that might want to start the same thing. Right.
And that's what it is, especially, after the holidays are over, after, all the warm and fuzzies have worn off and we all are done vomiting from drinking too much eggnog, real life happens and we have the new year. It's going to be 2020. And I don't know about a lot of you, and for some of you, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about, but half of us didn't think we were going to see the year 2000. No. Everything was, oh no, it's Y2K, it's Y2K bug, everything's shutting down, and here we are, it's going to be 2020, so, a lot of us, as always, we got that New Year's resolution going. For me, like Lynn, like you said, self-growth, you can really just put everything in a little bubble of self-growth. Like no matter what, any New Year's resolution you make, I want to read more books. I want to work out more. I want to, save more money, things like that. It's like, that's all self-growth. And the better you make yourself is the better, if you're in a relationship, the better you will be for your partner. If you're in a marriage, the better you'll be for your spouse. If you're a parent, the better you'll be for your children, so on and so forth. So just bettering yourself overall just makes everything better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When self growth, I've come to the conclusion, especially with this year, I've been so accustomed to just having to feel like I need to focus on everybody else.
Right.
I take care of my family, my friends, coworkers, everything. I've been trying so hard forever now to get everybody to the finish line when I'm still in the fucking start of the line, trying to do my own thing. And what happens is once everybody's good to go and they surpass me, I'm back to square one of why did I not start my own thing? So my thing with the New Year's and what my New Year's resolution is, once the holidays are done and we're done enjoying it and having fun, like Darius said, throwing up from all the eggnog and the drinking and the parties and everything, once the new year kicks over, it's time, it's crunch time. It's my new way of I need to better myself.
Right.
So what I'm going to do more than anything is promote self-growth before commitment. When know that I'm functioning at a high level, at a perfect, strong level of surpassing, all of my expectations of what I need to do.
Right.
That is when I'm going to be able to start focusing on, other people's helps, other people's tasks. I need to better myself and put myself in a better situation so where I don't have to worry about becoming a liability. I want to be an asset to people. I want to be not a crutch or a necessity to where people have to need me around in order to do better. I want to be that asset like, hey, I'm here. Let's make your day better. Right. Let's do let me give you what I have in order to get you to go, not, let's both do good, but hey, I'm also struggling. Can you get me to where I need to go? Don't piggyback off of people. Don't make it to where if you can't function on your own that you need the guidance and help of others. And I would be a hypocrite if I'd say otherwise, that I haven't been like that. I've gotten to points where it's like I am very self-sustaining, but if I am trying a new task, more or less going linear rather than a straightforward approach, I panic. And it's like I'm reaching out for help. I'm like, hey, I need to know what I need to do to get better. And sometimes you might not have that help.
Right. And that's the thing, especially with self-growth, what you have to focus on is a lot of times you have to remember that as much as you build yourself, you have to invest in others. Like life works that way. Somebody had to give life to you and they had to keep you alive so that you could make it to this point wherever you are in your life. And to a certain extent, it's our responsibility as human beings caring for one another to give back to each other. So a lot of times it feels like in society this day and age, we're so focused on me, I, that people are so focused on building up themselves that they're not investing in others and they're not helping others achieve their goals. Like Lynn said, you want to be an asset to that person. You don't want to be, you don't want to be their sugar daddy. You're not trying to be their daddy Warbucks over here. You know what I mean?
No.
Me and Lynn have both taken that.
Shit's got to stop.
Right. We've both been down that path where we've just thrown money at a situation, but that doesn't fix things. What fixes things is the people that are in the situation growing from it, regardless of their mistakes, regardless of their background. You're growing from the situation, you're learning, so that way you can be an asset in the future if somebody's going through the same situation, they're going through a similar situation, maybe even to help them avoid the situation altogether. These things are required to make us better. With me, I'm not always about myself because I notice with me personally, I get a big head and I got a whole lot of pride, and the first thing I'll do is give myself a pat on the back and think I'm the king of the world.
Everybody does it.
You're right. You know what I mean? You got to humble yourself.
Everybody does it.
You got to go low, better yourself, get yourself to the pinnacle of your existence, and then be ready to start, trickling down that, in some cases, that wealth, that love, that success, that opportunity. You know what I mean? It's all about building yourself up to give back to others so that they can give to others. Teach a man to fish. It goes all the way back to that.
It's that point where it's like, everybody wants to grow and they want to be able to do whatever they want, whether it be buy the expensive game, buy the new toys, buy a house, buy a car. But it sucks to say it's a lonely path. It's a lonely road if you're going to run down this thing from start to finish with nobody by your side. My biggest thing, and Dee touched on, is that I want to be able to provide and do what I need to do for my family, for my friends, but I want them to be able to catch up with me so that we can run this race together. It's more enjoyable with company. Humans are not meant to be isolated. You're not meant to run alone. You can. People do self-function alone. People do sacrifice on their own, and they're able to go day by day running their own shit. You cook for yourself. You clean yourself. You to get yourself up to go to work. You do your day-to-day errands by yourself. But who really wants to be by themselves all the time doing everything? It does help to cook and eat with somebody. It does help to go run errands with somebody. It does help just the equivalent of just, you know, playing a game. Like if you're playing a video game, yeah, the story mode is great, but it only runs to a certain point to where eventually you have no more game to play. It's the reason why they create multiplayer and online. It becomes more enjoyable because you can interact and relate with other people, which makes it just a whole lot better.
And that's what it boils down to. You know, a lot of times we get so caught up in being alone, or at least not even being alone. It's almost like a forced programming where it's you get older and you learn you have to get a job, and then you realize you can't spend money like you used to, and you can't do things like you used to. So then you start getting, you know, cold, and you start, okay, well, I got to save, and I'm going to keep all my money, and I'm going to do this, and I'm only going to buy this for me and my absolute loved ones, and this and that. And that's kind of like what I was saying before. We get so caught up in our day-to-day of me and my that we don't focus on other people's needs. Now, don't get it twisted. You have some people out there, and, you know, off the top of my head, I can't think of any names, but you have some people out there that all they do is give. So please don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, for those of us like myself who know that it's very easy to become self-centered. It's very easy to gravitate towards me and expect people to see me and acknowledge me for what I have, because I've put in all this work and I've become so great and this and that. But none of that matters, because if you can't help somebody else achieve their goals, no one's going to care. They're going to look at you and you're going to be nice and sweet looking. But just like every toy, every brand new toy, it's fun when you first bring it out of the package and it smells new and you've never had it before. But after, say, give it a day or so, and that toy's got a few scratches and a few dents and dings and maybe a little piece of paint is missing, it's not as fun. You want a new toy. But what you have to do is you have to focus, because you are that toy. So once you've gotten a few dents and dings, you don't want to be cast aside. You want to still be useful. That goes back to what Lynn said, be an asset. So don't just be the new thing on the block. Don't just be the next big thing. Be somebody that is always going to be there, that's going to be around, that's going to have some battle scars to show, but some stories and some education and some skills to impart on others through those battle scars.
That's a solid response. You're needing to learn from your experience so that when you do come into the new year, you've got yourself a game plan. Yeah. Kind of like, you know, relaying on, all right, you know, 2019's happened. We've done everything that we needed to do. What's 2020 gonna offer? What side notes? What are your plans for 2020? Like what do you have any events going on? You know, obviously, you know, we hang out pretty regularly, you know, hiking. That's for sure a thing that's gonna be coming up soon. I want to go more. Once the weather cleans up, once it's not so cold, more. I figured come January or February when Naomi's birthday is around, everything like that, we're gonna go hiking. Chris wants to go hiking, so I know we're gonna get everybody together. Yes. You know, my daughter, we just took her hiking like a month or two ago, and she took it like a champ. You know, she wanted to keep hiking. Granted, we tried to take a shortcut back and got stuck in a bunch of cactuses. That was so miserable. I felt so bad because we were trying to walk through these cactuses, and she's so little, so every single time we would take a step, there'd be a cactus stuck in her pants. I'd walk through, there's a cactus stuck in my butt. So rule of thumb when it comes to hiking, stick to the goddamn path. Don't wander off just because you think, oh, you know, it doesn't look that far if I go through this shortcut. Because there's, in Nevada, if you're from Nevada, there are cactuses everywhere. Yes. These, you know, the experiences are new, but, you know, she did have fun, and we all do enjoy to go out. I feel like hiking is something that everybody should experience, regardless if you're not into nature or not. It's that equivalent. If you live in a city like us, it gets boring. It's like you don't make, as a local, enough money to enjoy your day-to-day of going to clubs and parties and events. So getting outside of town just to go up to the mountains, to the snow, or go out hiking so you can experience nature, it makes you feel like a whole new person. Yes. My goal, you know, with the new year rolling over, is I want to go hiking at least 4 or 5 times. Oh, yes. And every quarter of the year to experience different elements. Yes. I want to go hiking. I'd like to, you know, go on a Cali trip. Yes. Go surfing. I want to go snowboarding. I just, being confined in this little spot of just working your day in, day out job going home just to survive for your weekend, for 2 days of, all right, we're going to go to the club or we're going to go out and drink. It gets old. It gets repetitive. Being in our 30s, it's like, I already did it. We've already done anything. So yeah, for sure. For sure. Obviously I'm going to be hitting you up soon.
Oh, bro.
We need to get hiking again.
Yes. Well, and for me, 2020 it's a new year. I'm going to be 32. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be 18 or woo, I'm finally going to be 21. It's like, bro, I'm going to be 30.
Fuck, you're going to be 32.
32.
I totally forgot.
I'm 32 years old. Like, just thinking back on our lives, it feels like, I mean, I'm not like one of those people where I'm like, oh, my whole life up until now was a blur. I remember everything. It's just one of those things where you look back and sometimes you wonder, have I become better?
Right.
You know what I mean? Am I any better than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yes. And that I was only a kid, but at the same time, even as a child, you can still be a good person, for our young viewers listening out there. So for me, 2020 is going to be a year of reflection, a year of growth, so that we can make sure, like, we're more prepared. I noticed this year, especially every year leading up to, getting older, it makes you slow down. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, it feels like time is speeding up. And it's like, no, actually, we've just lost sight of enjoying the day to day. And we've become so focused on getting a paycheck. And, you only get 2 paychecks out of a month. So you get your second paycheck, the month is over. And it feels like you haven't experienced anything. So for me, I want to be better prepared. I'm going to work on being more financially stable.
Absolutely.
That's
that's
Lynn will tell you, man, I'm not money. I am not good with money, bro. I will spend money.
You know what? It's not a bad thing. Like,
right.
it's you. One of the things you taught me, and with me, I've always been a conservative. Like, I save and I bundle. But then I get in this routine where it's like, fuck, I'm working my ass off to squirrel fund all this money to the side for a what if factor, what might happen. So I could be stacking up thousands of dollars, but then I get in this down spiral of like, well, fuck, dude, all I'm doing is working. All I'm doing is working to save. These open up my eyes towards like, sometimes you gotta take what little money that you have put aside to go enjoy yourself. Go treat yourself to a good meal. Go see a movie. Go out. Go with your friends and grab a drink or two. Don't make it a fucking weekly thing.
Right.
But be financially responsible. To where your bills and everything and your priorities are taken care of. But then have money for yourself to enjoy. Because if you're just going to work just to side pocket money with no goal, like the equivalent of I do have friends that they want to hustle 2 or 3 jobs at the same time.
Whew.
I get it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But for what?
Yeah.
Why? Why are you beating your ass into the ground to get this extra money? Do you have a purpose? Is there a plan? I could be at home doing nothing and enjoying the downtime of doing nothing, or I could be hustling and making this money. But if I'm gonna make the time to make this money, it's because I have a plan on what I'm gonna invest it in.
Right.
Like I need growth. I feel like me and Mindy got a lot of New Year's resolutions we're going into. This new year, 2020, is gonna be intense. It's gonna be new for all of us. Hopefully with Project Airwaves up and running, and we get this podcast strolling, we can start putting our efforts into our own growth and development, so we can branch and become more stable on our own to assist other people, to make it to a community rather than it just being an individual success rate, because people tend to grow better in groups. If you have a group thing, like people losing weight, people running marathons, people training, you train a lot harder when there's someone there to push you. And you can be your own self-support group, but it back to what I was talking about before, you get lonely. It's just it's not. It's a very snail pace. I'm not saying the equivalent of the tortoise and the hare, where you have to sprint to the deadline by yourself, but don't run as slowly as a tortoise. Just get that in between to where it's like, I can grind. I'm here to make money and do what I need to do. But if my family and friends can go with me, you're going to make that experience much durable. What's the point in getting to the end of the road and having all this shit in your lap if you have nobody to share it with?
Yeah, branching off on a side note, I haven't been gaming in so long. Me and Lynn are some of our biggest, most funnest moments, like I was saying before, go back to gaming. And so with me getting older and having to have my own established life, now having a family and everything, I've had to learn to become a man And so
It's
I did
hard.
it's not fun, bro.
It's hard
Like
growing up.
we
It
went
sucks.
from playing video games almost every day and
Every day.
just, you know,
It used to be
BSing
easy.
all weekend.
Yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
used to be
We
easy.
used to have this like huge desert in between our two houses. And
Yeah.
so me and Lynn would just go back and forth through this desert and just getting all types of shenanigans. And it's crazy to see how much life has changed. But for me, one of the things, and it's funny that this has to be a New Year's resolution, but for me, I want to get back into gaming. I've taken a break off because, you know, it used to be, you know, when you're younger, and for those of us who are a little, you know, bit well off, and I don't mean millions, but you know, we're not wanting for anything. You know, I grew up with almost anything I could want. If I wanted I had the PlayStation 1 when it first came out. I had the Nintendo 64 when it first came out. You know, I had the PlayStation 2 when it first came out. It got to a point where, you know, to an extent, my friends were coming to my house to play the video games because I had the most, you know, latest game stations.
Those new consoles, yeah.
They were amazing, bro. Like, you know, we would just spend hours. And I felt like as we got older and became, quote unquote, adults, we kind of shied away from that because, yes, as always, you know, anybody tell you, yes, you have responsibilities. But after a while, it gets to a point where you got to have fun again.
Yeah.
And I miss that side of me. Like my girl knows a lot about me, and, you know, my family and friends know a lot about me, but it's one of those things where sometimes you just want to kick back and be a kid again. And I feel like I just haven't been able to do that. So that's definitely one of my New Year's resolutions. I'm getting a PlayStation 4. Yes, I'm behind, but suck it.
Yeah.
I'm getting a PlayStation 4. Me, Lynn, and my boys, we're going to game a little bit more, and I'm going to try and relax. I'm going to try and wind down a little more. I've noticed that I've just become very stressed, you know, very tightly wound, and I feel like used to be I came home from work and I needed like an hour or two to just kind of chill.
Right.
Now I feel like I need an entire day just to, you know, take my mind off of work.
Yeah, it becomes a liability for yourself. You can't enjoy anything. You know, I've turned this into a thing, and I try to become more self-aware. Is that if I'm consistently going to work, coming home, going to sleep, waking up, going to the gym, eating, going to work with no me time, I start to go stir crazy. It's like playing my video game. But when I'm sitting down in the living room, you know, let me play my game for just like an hour, maybe two, and it'll help me kind of relax because I'm so, like, you know, like D talked, I'm so wound up with work and having to, you know, literally insecurity. It's like you're fighting everything all the time. You're never going into a situation where people are nice. They're gonna yell at you. They're gonna scream at you. They're gonna call you bad names. They're gonna fight with you, and it's doing that every single day, 4 to 5 days out of the week for 50 to 60 hours at a time. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks because there's no you time. You have to go in. I go in this mentality of when I'm outside of work, I try to be loving and caring to all my family and friends. And then when I go to work, I have to completely, a drop of the hat. I have to switch who I need to be. I have to be that asshole.
Judge Dredd.
I have to be that person where I have to be like you said, you got to be Judge Dredd. I got to come down hard on these people because they don't respect kindness. They want to take advantage of you and your kindness by, you know, treating you like shit and being rude to you. So I think a console does help. I'm a big believer in having some form of release, and every, you know, man and woman, they're entitled to an hour or two, maybe even three of you time. Even it's like I'm so behind on games. I have games, and when there's a sale, I will download it. Like, you know, I downloaded the remake of Resident Evil 2. Oh, really good. Really, really good game. It came out in February. Right. So I'm months behind. People have way past. There's streamers that, you know, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, all of them.
Before it even comes out.
Nova, they already beat it. Yeah. And it's like, I'm playing that. I did the remake of BioShock of all three of them. Oh, dude. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now. It's like Far Cry 5. They're all super good, cheap deals for like $19-20 for $70 to $80 games. Right. And I'm enjoying them immensely. Right. And it's so simple and so minimal, but it's that time where it's like, I don't have to be me. Right. I don't have to focus on being the good guy anywhere else, and I don't have to focus on being the asshole. Right. I'm allowed to be a character that has nothing to do with me, go fuck some shit up, and enjoy myself and have a good time. And, you know, it sucks, but once everything goes back down, you know, it goes back into that reality stage. It's like, all right, you know, just got to put the game down.
Get back on the grind.
Got to do what I need to do, make sure, you know, everybody's been fed, everything's been good. Yeah. Is it time for work? Do I need to eat? Do I need to go to the gym? I go back into that personal responsibility. But, you know, like D hit with the new year, bring yourself some joy by purchasing things for you that can give you that satisfaction on a day-to-day basis. So you're not just going in this stressful, like, wound up mode of, fuck, I'm just going to work, I'm doing this is what's happening, this is what I need to do.
You get tired. And one last note on games, he says he's behind. I literally just beat Darksiders 2.
Oh my god.
Right, that game came out like 4 or 5 years ago, guys.
Yeah, they're already on Darksiders 3.
That's 4. How long I took a break from gaming. I just beat Darksiders 2. But no worries. So kind of a few things we want to mention before closing.
Right.
So Project Airwaves is a big thing for us. This is our baby.
Yeah. It's our foundation.
I have a YouTube channel. I didn't really do everything I needed to do to really get that off the ground. But this is something, it's nice to be a part of something bigger. Because like Lynn said, it's easy, it's better to work with other people. Mm-hmm. So for me, I tried to do my YouTube channel by myself. You know, I was waking up and just coming up with my own ideas and recording stuff randomly and just posting it, not talking to anybody or anything like that. So this is like a second chance for me to really like actually do something, you know, productive and my way of giving back, you know, because yes, I can't, you can go outside and meet any stranger off the street, but it's going to be a lot more easier for me to get to multiple people, to the crowds, or, you know, to even 5 or 6 people if you just, you know, go to these various platforms we're going to be hosting this podcast on. So for Project Airwaves, you know, this is a big deal for us, and we're going to really give this 110%
absolutely
what we have. Now, we are going to have some, you know, some spinoffs, some, you know, some branch projects here and there.
Yeah, it's a good word. Good.
We're going to go ahead and, you know, for this, we're going to stick to Wednesdays. No matter what, you are always going to get a show with me and Lynn on a Wednesday. We call this our Wild Card Wednesdays. It may change. You know, if you guys have any comments or suggestions, what we could call this.
Different topics. Yeah, different topics. Wild Card Wednesdays is going to be our bread and butter, if you will. Our main project. Project Airwaves is going to be our platform and our foundation so that we can grow. A big thing of what we're learning with, you know, social media and everything like that, is that you need to have other branches. Yeah. It's the equivalent of a tree. You're going to water a tree, but a tree doesn't just grow one branch in one direction. It grows branches in multiple different directions. The same thing with the roots. You've got the higher part of the tree, our air, and then you've got the lower part of the tree, the roots, which is our ground. Like we're trying, exactly. It's the foundation that we're trying to build, so we can make more out of it with these spinoffs. With our spinoffs, these little spinoff sitcoms that we're going to try and implement in, so we can actually get more episodes. Is we will. D will be hitting his topics of what he feels on his downtime, and the same thing with myself. I'm going to implement mine. We're going to touch base on it, but we'll always drop all this information into it, which will be Project Airwaves. So we want your guys' feedbacks on what we can do to be better. We're gonna beat this thing like a goddamn dead horse until we know that it's up to gallop and ready to go. We want to grow and we need growth. So with your guys' help, anything you want to talk about, any topics at all, any worldly topics and situations. If I haven't experienced it, I guarantee you D's experienced it. He's more mentally and physically driven than most people that I know, and he's on a higher spiritual level than a lot of people that I know. So, and with me, I have a lot of outside street experience with my job and everything I've been through in my life. So you're gonna get good content and good information from both of us, but we need your help in order to make it about you, about what you think we can do. Yeah, this is a house of cards, you know, as delicate as it will be, you know, on a day-to-day routine. It's something that's going to be beautiful once it's built and once it all comes together. So like anything else, you know, we don't want to build our house on sand. We want to have a strong foundation, and we want to make sure, you know, we get this off the ground. So Project Airwaves is going to be a thing. We're not going anywhere. If anything, we're just going to become more available and more robust. So, you know, with that, as always, we want your comments, your suggestions, you know, leave us some love. Hey, if you don't like something, it's called constructive criticism. Constructive criticism. Be nice about it, please. We have feelings. We'll ignore you. we can be tough, but we all are. We're human beings. We have feelings. We're trying to grow and do better. So whatever advice and information you can give us to do better, we're good. This is Project Airwaves. We're writing these airwaves so we can get all this information out across the board to any community that we need. As always, guys, this is D and Lynn signing off. Keep your head in the clouds. And keep your feet on the ground. Take it easy, everybody. Happy holidays. Everybody. Happy holidays.